Hello everybody, it's drumroll please, competition time. If you are a keen drawer, designer and or sculptor, then listen up. This week I'm going to be giving you some information about how you can take part in the 2024 Fourth Plinth Schools Awards. The Fourth Plinth we'll be finding out about is located in London's Trafalgar Square, and the idea behind this competition is really simple. That is to design an idea, to come up with an idea for a sculpture that could be placed on the Fourth Plinth, or make a mini model, a sculpture that could be blown up large to be on the Fourth Plinth. Whether or not your idea is a 2D flat design drawing or a 3D model sculpture, there's one thing that it must do. Your artwork, your design and or sculpture should express your ideas about life in London, an idea about your experience of life in London. And that can be very everyday or quite fantastical, hopeful, optimistic, pessimistic, weird, zany. It's your chance to show what you think about growing up here now. There are 3 age categories. So, do you fit into the 5 to 7, the 8 to 11, or maybe you have an older sibling or friend who's 12 to 15? That's the 3rd age category. If you do, and if you're really interested to take part, here's an important date. The absolute deadline for me as a teacher to submit your work, and it has to be a teacher at a school, it can't be a parent. The deadline is the 15th of March, next Friday. Therefore, if you want to take part, you need to bring in or send me a photograph of your artwork, either the drawing, design, or the 3D sculpture, a photograph of it, or bring it in for me to photograph by next Thursday at the very, 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 very latest. So that's your deadline, Thursday the 14th of March. In the rest of this video, I'm going to talk about the history of the Fourth Plinth, what's the idea behind it, and some contemporary artworks that have stood there in recent years. They're all completely different, and some are really humorous, some are quite serious, some are a mixture of both. And I'm sure there's at least one that will appeal to you. I'll also be showing you some examples of pupil artworks from previous years, so you get an idea of the standard. Remember, it's 5 to 7, 8 to 11 and 12 to 15. Let's take a look then at Fourth Plinth. Where is it? What is it? What's it all about?
You might know Trafalgar Square best for its 4 huge stone lions, or for its iconic Nelson's column. But I bet you've walked past lots of artworks in the Fourth Plinth on the northwest corner, just in front of the National Gallery. Here it is. The Fourth Plinth displays a different piece of contemporary, that means of the now, contemporary sculpture on a pretty regular basis. Now, the Fourth Plinth was meant to hold a bronze equestrian statue of King William IV. But in 1841, the funds ran out, there was no money, and it was never completed. And it stayed empty until 1991, when the Royal Academy was given the job of putting something on this spot. And the decision they made has changed the square and given us Londoners a lot to discuss. It was so successful that a special group, a commission, was set up to decide the plinth's future use. And they decided the best use was to continue to show contemporary art commissions. So the Mayor of London took over. Now, there have been many disagreements over what should appear on the empty plinth, but It was decided for the time being to have pieces that would speak to Londoners, that would make us feel at home, or make us think, or make us ponder, use our imaginations in different ways. And that is certainly done. Whenever a new sculpture goes up, locals and tourists go to watch it be unveiled, and we all have opinions of what it looks like and whether we think it's good or whether it's even art at all. The very first statue commissioned was artist Mark Wallinger's Ecce Homo. It showed Christ, Jesus Christ, but as a normal man looking like he was about to say a big speech. This was human sized and looked to be very small on the plinth. Now, that's a bit like the ordinary people who appeared in Anthony Gormley's One Another from July to October 2009. Gormley's idea saw over 2,400 ordinary people have a single hour on the plinth, each hour, 24 hours a day for 100 days. The plinth reflected us, our humanity, and they spent their time singing, dancing, reading poetry, and other things. It was art made by everyone, for everyone, and enjoyed by the masses. Now, that definitely says a lot about the City of London and the people who live and work here. Let's pause and think more deeply. What is a plinth, and what does it do to a sculpture placed on it? How does putting a sculpture on a plinth affect both the sculpture and the people seeing it? Well, it does so in a few ways. Number one, attention. Putting a sculpture on a plinth makes it stand out. It's like giving it a VIP seat in the art gallery. People are more likely to notice it because it's elevated in a prime spot. Number two, importance. By putting a sculpture on a plinth, it gives the artwork a sense of importance and significance. It's like saying, this sculpture is special and deserves to be seen by everyone. And thirdly, it's a case of perspective. When a sculpture is on a plinth, it changes how people see it. They can walk around it and view it from different angles, which allows them to appreciate the sculpture as an artwork in a whole new way. Bear this in mind when you're designing your plinth design. Let's discuss a few things about the actual sculptures in more detail now. The materials themselves can go towards the meaning of the sculpture. One example that isn't on the Fourth Plinth but is an important part of the British landscape is Anthony Gormley's Angel of the North. It celebrates the shipbuilding industry of the Northeast, and it was constructed by men with skills that were used in that same industry. Returning to the Fourth Plinth, in 2012, Nelson's ship in a bottle was quite a sight to behold, an enormous version of a ship inside of the bottle that has vibrantly coloured sails patterned with African-inspired design. This is a scale replica of HMS Victory in the bottle. And it was actually the first commission by a British-Nigerian artist, a black artist, Yinka Shonabari, and the first to actually reflect on its setting, Trafalgar Square. Trafalgar Square commemorates the Battle of Trafalgar, shown here in this Turner painting. The ship's 37 large sails were made of patterned textiles typical of African dress. They're used to show African identity and independence. So the work makes a problem of it and considers the legacy of British colonialism and its expansion in trade and empire. You can still go to see the ship in a bottle today as it sits just outside the National Maritime Museum in Greenwich. Definitely worth a visit. Sculptures can be really funny and interactive, but also carry a serious message too. Not on the Fourth Plinth, but one worth considering, is Jeremy Deller's Sacrilege. It involves humour, but a very stern comment about our national heritage and contemporary life. It's about Stonehenge, and it's about how we interact with our history, how precious it is, or whether or not we do think it is at all precious and deserves to be protected and preserved. But then sculptures can also just be funny. 2016 saw the commission of Really Good, sculpted out of bronze by British artist David Shrigley. The sculpture was of a human hand giving a thumbs up, with the thumb being made extremely long, 7 metres in fact, which means surely that something somewhere is really good, as the title suggests. Shrigley's ambition was that this very simple gesture, a thumbs up, will become a self-fulfilling prophecy that things considered bad before, like the weather, the state of the economy, how things are going, society, will benefit from a change of mind towards positivity. So let's think. Sculptures can be funny, they can be serious, they can be colourful, like model for a hotel made out of red and blue glass and yellow glass. They can be colourful like Hancock. They can feature animals. They can feature children like you, or children from history, like powerless structures you see here, a gold and bronze sculpture of a boy atop his rocking horse. So to summarise, each year London schools, primary and secondary, are invited to enter the Fourth Plinth Schools Awards. It gives you a chance to get involved with public art and give your views on London. Your challenge is to design an artwork inspired by the Fourth Plinth in Trafalgar Square. Your design should express your views on life in London. It can be a mini model or a drawing design for a sculpture. There will be winner and runner-up prizes for different age categories, 5 to 7, 8 to 11 and 12 to 15 years old, as well as prizes for the best work from each borough. There will also be a presentation ceremony at City Hall, and all winning entries will appear in an exhibition in the later spring. Your entry could include drawing, painting, sculpture, collage and digital designs, but it must be made to me, your teacher. Send me a photograph of your sculpture or design, or bring it in for me to photograph. Remember, you can use modelling using soft material like clay, wax or plasticine. You can involve carving, the taking away of materials, stone, wood, soap or polystyrene. Construction involves assembling or joining stuff together. Moulding and casting. A good example of this is a jelly mould. When you fill a space, the mould, with a molten or liquid material. Feel free to use any material and have fun.